Hey guys, how's it going? Mr. Gagnon here. We're cruising along and now we're going to start our new unit on energy here. And just a couple of things. I just wanted to make mention that number one, the notes. If you are looking at the notes and reading the notes, it's a very good idea to do that in combination with the videos that I'm giving you guys. The videos are meant to help understand and decipher the notes. Also, in the notes, you're going to notice that if you click on the PDF document that I gave you for the notes, that you can also click on like certain questions in certain parts of the notes. And New Jersey, the company that we get the notes from, they actually do a really good job in explaining some of the questions and samples. So I want you guys to be aware of that. The other thing is Google does tend to slow down my voice a bit on YouTube. So it's best to play it on 1.25 speed. So let's get into it. Let's get into some of the questions and problems to do with energy. So energy is a vast concept, and I really like teaching this, and also like to see students learning about energy. The fact of the matter that energy is timeless. So what I mean by that is I'm going to draw a simple picture for you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about energy. Okay, so there's our sun. Okay, and we're going to say this was well, I'll say 60 million years ago. Okay, so the sun looked very much the way that it does now. Didn't look much different. In fact, if we were to be living 60 million years ago, we'd look up and it looked like it does today. But the Earth was quite different. So the sun is where we get all of our energy from in terms of the way we live. So let's take a look at it. Again, 60 million year old sun. And remember, I said that energy is timeless. So I'm going to draw a little chain here. So the 60 million year old sun gave energy to the, again, my pictures are not going to be so great because I'm not an artist, but gave energy to the 60 million year old plant. Okay, so now the plant, and you're looking at this and you're saying, hey, that looks like a food chain. It really is a food chain, actually, but it's a little bit different because we're looking at energy. The plant now, the 60 million year old plant, gives energy to, and again, don't make fun of my pictures, gives energy to the 60 million year old bug. Okay, the 60 million year old bug is giving up its energy to a 60 million year old. Okay, there we go. We don't know what this animal is. It's not Pokemon, okay? We'll call it a 60 million year old animal, like a rabbit with really big teeth, okay? So this rabbit here has now gained energy from this, and from this. So notice that, again, energy is timeless. So this weird looking animal then gives its energy to, and I'll do the best I can in drawing a dinosaur. Okay, gives its energy to the dinosaur. Okay, so the dinosaur comes along and eats this weird-looking animal. Now, so the point is that started from the sun, went to the dinosaur. I'm going to continue this chain all the way down to the bottom here. Okay, so the chain is going a little further. Okay, now this dinosaur unfortunately dies of old age. Okay, and he is now, or she is now, under the ground, compressed and aged. And underneath the ground here, we're going to fast forward plus 60 million years. Okay, let's fast forward 60 million years. Now, this dinosaur matter is still buried under here, under the ground. Now, here's the cool thing. I said energy is timeless. This energy came from the sun. Went through its paths to the dinosaur. Dinosaur died. And now someone comes along, a person comes along and digs into the earth, and out comes some pretty impressive, cool stuff. And out comes crude oil. Now with crude oil, okay, I'm going to write it down here. Crude oil can give you a number of things. Oil, diesel fuel, heating oil. Actually, these two things are the same. They dye diesel, so we don't use heating oil in our cars and trucks. Gasoline, and there's a few more, but we'll actually look at some plastics. So look, energy came from the sun 60 million years ago, worked its way through the chain, ended up under the ground, compressed. We came along 60 million years later, and we were happy to get some crude oil coming out of the ground, stuck in between the rocks. And with this crude oil, we now have energy to make these things. Now, we also can say that electricity comes from the burning of these oils. And actually, in this country, we use coal quite a bit too. Now, coal is if this plant died and was buried. Okay, coal comes from plants. Okay, so this plant here could give coal. Now, we could stop there and then use that as energy, but in this case, I'm just looking at oil. So, pretty cool stuff, I'd have to say. You know, you have the energy transfer. Now, every time we hit on the light switch, okay, the electricity goes on and gives us different types of energy. Electricity goes to light, back to heat, light, heat, and other things too. We turn on our computers. So yeah, if it weren't for the sun shining this long ago and us able to tap into the fossil fuel, okay, that's why they call it fossil fuel, we now have electricity. Now, I did give you guys these set of notes in class, but we're going to kind of relate to it now a little bit in terms of energy. So that's that for the first video. It's a little introduction. Hopefully you remember that from class. And signing off.